Today's live recording, and today we are introducing a new project. It's a case study with a woman named Mette, and she lives in Copenhagen. And we are just about to embark on our journey with her, and she will undertake like a full transformation, lifestyle transformation, because she has a bunch of conditions that she is ready to let go of, and she has come to a point where enough is enough. And when we work with people, we know when they are ripe. She's very ripe. So this will be a very exciting journey. And the most exciting thing about this is that we will take you along with us. So just a little bit of introduction about the case study. We will start to work online with Mette. She will do one private session with me every week, and she will do one private session with Simba every week. She is also part of our new emotional freedom program. And so that's how we start. And then at some point she will come and visit, but we will see. That's not decided yet. And there is so much you can do online. So we are inviting you to come along on the journey. And every second week we will do a video update and discuss the case and how it's going. So it's a little bit like behind the scenes, the discussion that none of you nor the client get to participate in. So we will show you that in the live sessions every second week on Wednesdays, 11:30 Bangkok time. And every second week, Mette will write a blog post about her experience and how she's doing and how she's feeling, and anything that is related to the journey. So okay, that's the introduction. So let's start discuss the case. So she has had one consultation with me and one consultation with Simba, and she has answered many questions in our online holistic health assessment program. So we have collected so much data about her and also talked about her with her and so on. So what would you say is interesting with this case?
I would say from a point of a holistic practitioner, it's very interesting because she is a textbook example of when a trauma happens at a certain point in life, that it affects the health, not just the mental, emotional, but actually the physical health, that the person started to develop, not going to go into details, but started to develop pain symptoms and different pains in the body, like migraines and such, related to a specific event that happened early. And as more events were happening along the line of life, the person started to develop different kinds of physical symptoms and imbalances, both in organs and glands, which doesn't happen straight away, right? Usually it starts by, some tension, maybe a little bit lack of energy, lack of focus. But this is kind of clearly that you can really see from these points and these events how that started to set the body out of balance to the point today where there is autoimmune conditions or organ imbalances, however you choose to name it, but that we can clearly see the connection between the emotional, mental, and how unprocessed emotions led into behaviors and mannerism and choice of lifestyle, work, that just fed into more of that imbalance to the point where it just becomes too much to handle with it. Thus the saying Sarah was saying, we know when people are ripe, because you come to a certain point where it's just too much pain. You just feel too much out of balance and you don't really know what to do after a certain.
I mean, one of the interesting things I feel with this case is that she has really gone through the whole thing with the allopathic medicine. She's come to a point where the doctors is actually telling her that we can no longer help you. There's nothing more we can do for you, and you just have to live with this. And as she described to me, her whole being is just expressing like, no, this is wrong, and I'm not having it. I'm not going to live like this. And she also has a daughter, so she, of course, she has, reasons to live and really wanting to live, but is unable to find the way. And that is one of the best for this deep kind of work to really change everything. That is it's like the ultimate, or the best kind of position someone can be in to work with us, because then they are really ready to challenge every belief system, every decision, every lifestyle investment, because it's all about becoming well, really. Because we see a lot of people still having different options, and then they choose to do something else. So
Yeah, in addiction psychology, they call it rock bottom. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're at the lowest point in your life, whatever that means for anyone. If it means living on the street, having no money, having loans or whatever, it just means it comes to a point where, like Sarah says, there is no shortcuts anymore. There is nothing I can do from here. I'm either emptied, no energy, or I'm full of whatever is going on and I can't move on. Something will have to change, because this is not holding on, right? And clearly having kids, commitments, that's a strong motivational factor, right? Not just to be strong for them, but to pass it on to the next generation and show, like, okay, if this happens in life, this is how we can solve it, right? So definitely it's a big shift that happens when you come to that certain point. And just like you mentioned, like, to iterate a little bit on it, just that it's a little bit different sometimes if you have more options, right? Not saying that you have to be at the end of the line to come to us. You can come at any
No, definitely not.
at any phase. But when it comes to certain aspects that are deeply rooted, it takes a bit of willpower and choice. I'm not saying willpower as like, "Oh, you have to power through it," but it comes into making that choice, that transition inside of yourself to actually change something that may take time. But there's a readiness, right? You are at a point of readiness. That's the analogy of the rock bottom. I can't go any further from here. I am at a point where there is no return. I can only go in a different direction from here. And certain times we might not have come to that point. So we're kind of going a little bit back and forth. And that's fine. That's life. That's part of the process. But in this case, it's come to a point where there is no more back and forth. There's no more space. I'm literally backed up against the wall, physically, mentally, emotionally, and not even the support system, medical doctors in this case, saying like, okay, you need to learn to live with this, because this is not something we, with our resources, can help you with at this stage, right? Then the motivation is high, right? Then it's like, oh wow, okay, I'm ready to change, right? There is no more excuses. I'm ready to do certain things to change. So that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's about surrender. It's about surrendering, and it's also a very emotional and spiritual process. It's not just a physical process. And I mean, that's also interesting that she has all this time she's had different alternative doctors that she's been working with, and using a lot of herbs and like more holistic methods. So she's also always been very into that, and felt like this is resonating, and she's been following us for a long time, and also always felt that that what we do is resonating with her. And yeah, now it's now it's time. And yeah, so it's going to be a very interesting journey, and we're going to take you along with us.
Yeah. And just like you mentioned, surrender is not about giving up, it's more about acceptance. And that's the spiritual shift, right? That we might be pulled in a different direction to find our healing than we thought that we were originally going, right? We might open up our beliefs, our mindset to new ways of how our emotions, thoughts, health, or lifestyle, the holistic aspect, every area of your life, how that weighs in together to create the vitality of your health. And that I thought was super interesting as I went through the results of the assessments. Without purposely, I hadn't talked a lot to her. We had like a little bit of just initial hello, but I got her to do the assessments. I read through them. I wrote a little bit of a summary, and then checked in with her, and I said, this is what I found, this is what I saw, how does that resonate with you? And every single aspect was like, yes, the doctor has made a test for this organ is low on this value, this organ is not performing well, this is not this, yes, I have so everything according to assessments, without even actually having that conversation and building a opinion about her at all, right? The assessments were just spot on with everything. So that was very interesting, in my opinion, because then that really shows it's a qualitative measurement to really bring out results that correlates into something that's real, not just if you're feeling sad that might give you pain in your body. It was very specific, like check, 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 check. And that's what we like with assessments. The more accurate they are, the better data information we get, the better programs we can make and actually help someone to make a change. So that's why it's a really interesting case, because it's really a textbook example of check, 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 check with what the person is experiencing and what their assessments are showing, without any bias or me thinking this is what happened, just by answering a series of questions.
So if we summarize her, like why she came to us and the symptoms. So she has a bunch of autoimmune diseases or conditions or imbalances or whatever you want to call it. I think they told her like 7 or 8 or 9 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then a lot of physical pain, and especially migraines, like heavy migraines that's been coming for years and years and years, even since she was young, right?
Yeah, so we mentioned, you can see the correlation of when the pain and migraine started related to when there was different traumatic events in life that wasn't really resolved due to the various reasons.
Yeah. And what else? She has a lot of fears and phobias. What else? She's had quite a lot of weight gain, but that's not the primary issue. And what else?
I think essentially it is not so much the list of what she has, it is that it has increased, right? As one aspect is not resolved or dealt with or addressed with in a sustainable, harmonious, holistic, as we call, way, it's just the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, and the next thing, and it just adds on, right? Yeah. So I mean, we can do full hour video talk about all the different things that we found, but that's not going to be very useful. The interesting aspect is that it doesn't go away. We can't just stick our head in the ground and hope for the best and it goes away. That doesn't work, right? Yeah. And that is the interesting part that's come up, that you come to that so-called rock bottom at a certain point where there's no more space. I'm up against the wall.
And very, very low energy levels.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of stuff going on. So we will start to untangle the different we will start to get to know her body, and start to work with her, basically.
Yeah, and both intuitively, but also with like a process systematically that don't go necessarily too fast. Make small changes, reevaluate how did that feel, small. So you always feel like you have those little wins, right? You do a small adjustment. Oh, that wasn't too much. It's a little bit too much. I can step back and in. So you start to gain that safety and trust into the process, which helps your body relax, will help you let go of trauma imbalances or whatever it is that is wanting to find its way out of the body.
So how we work is that Simba, so she will have her own ride with Simba, and they will build their own connection, and Simba will work intuitively with her his way, and I will do the same. And I will focus on how much we can clean up the diet, and see how we can work with the nutrition and start to detoxify the body, because that will be a big thing. In cases like this will be very, very, it will be important to do that. The trick is here to find something sustainable, because this we will do to do something about a case like this. We will have to work over a long period of time, because this is not a quick fix. So this needs to be sustainable. So we will, as Simba said, do small changes, and or wherever she feels ready to do bigger changes, we will do that as well. But we will work closely with her, and if it's too much, we back off. And yeah, and I will also start to work with to see how we can structure her, what we can do with her current life or lifestyle, to see, because what I would like to do is to start to make the body more vital, so that she gains more energy during her, like in a day or a week, that she gains more energy than she spends, so that the body can start to self-heal. And I mean, of course, we will have to work with the nervous system.
Yeah.
So we have many tools that we will use, and it's just in the beginning, it's about finding the dance with the person. So it's always a little bit it's like we get started and see where it takes us. So the food and probably a daily routine is where I will start, like a morning routine. And what do you feel?
So I'm going to start with body awareness. That's a lot of what I'm doing, befriending the body, because when there's a lot of trauma, when there's a lot of pain, painkillers, as in this case, is used to regulate that. It's about teaching the person a natural way to slowly start to befriend the symptoms, and how to work with it on a natural level. That doesn't mean I'm telling someone to do anything with a medication. That's never my job. But how they can connect to those sensations and work with the emotions that can help them along with the plan they already have, right? To make it more sustainable. And then from there, we will see if that affects the pain levels, the sleep, the self-regulation, how to regulate stress and emotional distress. And gradually, maybe, depending on where we go, some body work, right? Start to connect to the body and kind of strengthening it a little bit. But we won't start there. We will start by befriending all the sensors and all the sensations that the person has, because in this case it kind of feels like the body's attacking at this point when there's so much going on. So it's to start to change that narrative, that conversation between the brain and the body, that we're friends, we're in the same team, we're working together, and connect a little bit.
Yeah, so is there anything else that we want to mention today?
No, I think it's a good start, actually. I think we said a lot.
Yeah. And next week, Mette will publish, or we will publish, about a blog post that she will introduce herself a little bit, and talk a little bit about her life situation, and how she how she feels, and then we will take it from there. So we will come back in 2 weeks and give you an update about how we are doing. And every second week, Mette will write a blog post and share her experience and what's going on. And you will get to join in on a real life lifestyle transformation.
Yeah, and not just a success story when everything is done and all of this. Yeah, it was so amazing.
Yeah.
You actually get to see what happens in the journey. And that's really interesting. Because most people think like, oh, I just do this and everything is fine. No, you will get results, but we want to show you the journey so you can feel motivated, inspired, and have like a vicarious example that you can see someone else with similar situation to what you had in life go from point A to whatever they want to go.
Yeah. So tune in, ask us any questions you like, follow her journey, and stay tuned. So you can follow us on Instagram or YouTube. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can book a free consultation with us. You can do that from the website livingwithspirit.com, and you will find all the information on the website.
Yeah, there's many different ways of interacting with us, and blog posts and articles, and we have all kind of levels of material that you can do self-inquiry or interact with us in group format online, or even coming here to stay. So work at your level like we always do with anyone, and feel free to explore, ask any questions. If you have a question and you might go like, oh, I don't know what to ask, or should I ask this question? Don't be shy, because chances are many people are thinking the same thing. And then we can just record a video and have a answer that might benefit a lot of people. So your question can actually help other people. So don't be shy. Just ask questions.
Yeah. Have a good day and see you soon. Ciao.